I'm here to talk to you today about the Founding Fathers and their views on the Second Amendment. I'm here today to persuade you about a position on the Second Amendment and to show you that what is politically correct today about the Second Amendment is not what the Founding Fathers believed. George Washington once said, "Firearms stand next to importance to the Constitution itself. They are the American people's liberty teeth and keystone under independence. From the hour the Pilgrims first landed to the present day, events, occurrences, and tendencies prove that to ensure peace, safety, and happiness, the rifle and the pistol are equally indispensable. The very atmosphere of firearms restrains evil interference. They deserve a place of honor with all that is good." Imagine that, one of our most famous founding fathers saying that weapons are next in importance to the Constitution and that they deserve a place of honor. I'll give you some more quotes from the founding fathers here in a little bit, but first I will give you a short history of this country. I'm sure you've all heard those words from Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, quote, "The shot that was heard around the world," unquote. I'm sure you've all heard those immortal words before. Those are from his Concord hymn. On April 19, 1775, 700 British regular troops, under the command of General Thomas Gage, set out on an expedition to seize and destroy a rebel cache of firearms and ammunition, which were located in Concord, Massachusetts. On the way to Concord, the regulars had to pass through the town of Lexington. The militia of Lexington had by that time formed, and they stood their ground in order to buy time for the militia in Concord to hide the cache of weapons. It was here that famous confrontation took place. It is interesting to note that the first shots fired in the War for American Independence were fired in defense to be able to keep and bear arms, in defense to be able to keep and store those arms and ammunition. So, as you can see, this was an issue that the Founding Fathers believed was essential to liberty. I'm sure many of you have heard today that the Founding Fathers could never have imagined the type of weapon technology that we have today, or any of the weapon systems that we have. Mainstream political correctness tells us that the Second Amendment was only for hunting. Well, just let me say this. Back in those days, if you didn't hunt, you didn't eat. That's right. Back in the late 1700s, most of people's protein came in the form of wild game. So, there goes that argument. If hunting was kind of a given in those days, what is the Second Amendment all about? Certainly, the Founding Fathers could not have imagined the type of technology that we have today in advanced systems. Well, what I'd like to propose to you today is that what the Founding Fathers were laying down in the Second Amendment was an everlasting principle, a truth that will never get outdated, something that has stood the test of time and remains standing. And that principle is best summed up by Thomas Jefferson, who said, "Those who hammer their guns into plowshares will plow for those who do not." What he is saying here is that a people and a nation that lay down their weapons in exchange for safety or in exchange for peace will either be made slaves or oppressed in some way or another. More on this in a little bit. To reinforce this point, Benjamin Franklin also said, "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty or safety." I hope you can see this is a very sobering subject. This is an issue that the Founding Fathers held very dear to themselves. What Benjamin Franklin is saying is that the responsibility and dangers that come with liberty are much better than any safety or security that the government can ever offer. And I would say that that type of safety is no safety at all. To say that guns kill people is to say that spoons make people fat. Sure, let's ban all the spoons, and all of our health concerns in this nation and all of our health problems will magically go away, right? No, stereotyping is not the answer. And yes, an armed society is a polite society. In the 1930s, a man named Adolf Hitler made some adjustments to his country's gun laws. For under the Treaty of Versailles, Germany had been pretty much stripped of all of her citizens' weapons. Hitler actually did some good. He relaxed some of the gun laws. But there was a deeper motive in this. He also passed a law that prohibited Jews from owning or possessing firearms. Again, a people that lay down their arms are either going to be slaves or be oppressed in some way or another. Thomas Paine once said, "The quietude of the good man allures the ruffian." But on the other hand, arms, like laws, keep order in the world as property. On the other hand, if the whole world were destitute of arms, the same balance would be pursued, because all would be alike. But since some will not lay down their arms, others dare not lay them aside. Horrid mischief would ensue were the law-abiding deprived the use of them. What the Founding Fathers envisioned was for an armed populace, for an armed people caused their government to fully understand the balance of power. And an armed people that have the same arms as those of their military are a free people. So with all of the debates going on today, in today's culture, about whether citizens should be allowed to own any type of military assault, weapons, gear, or anything of that nature, I would contend that the Founding Fathers would approve of the citizens being armed. The co-author of the Second Amendment, George Mason, once said, "Who is the militia? It is the whole people. To disarm the people is the best and most effectual way to enslave them." And more recently, from Carlton Heston, he said, "Freedom has one enemy that it cannot defeat, and that is negligence." Thank you.